The WNBA front office just proved exactly what we have been documenting on this channel for months, and Caitlin Clark is standing in the absolute center of the most blatant, undeniable double standard this league has ever produced. The league office refused to rescind Caitlin Clark's technical foul for clapping. Let me say that again so it sinks in. Caitlin Clark received her 5th technical foul of the season for clapping her hands together on the court. And the WNBA looked at that call, reviewed it, and said no, that stands. Meanwhile, Paige Bueckers gets the exact same technical foul for the exact same gesture in the exact same situation, and the league office wipes it clean within 24 hours like it never happened. This is not a coincidence. This is not an oversight. This is a deliberate, calculated message being sent from the highest levels of the WNBA establishment, and the target of that message is Caitlin Clark. Welcome back. This is Baskley, and today we are tearing apart the most glaring, most insulting act of institutional bias the WNBA has committed this season, and we are documenting exactly how the league's own actions expose the lie that Caitlin Clark receives preferential treatment. Before we walk through every single detail of this absolute circus, I need you to understand the stakes here. Caitlin Clark is sitting on 5 technical fouls. 5. One more technical foul and she is suspended for a game. The Indiana Fever are fighting for playoff positioning. Every single game matters, and the league office just handed her a suspension threat for clapping while Paige Bueckers walks free after doing the exact same thing. The narrative you have been hearing all season long from certain corners of the basketball media is that Caitlin Clark uses her celebrity to bend the rules, that she gets away with things other players do not, that the referees give her star treatment. We are about to prove that narrative is not just wrong, it is the exact opposite of reality. Let me lay out what happened. Caitlin Clark was assessed a technical foul during a game for clapping, not for yelling at a referee, not for throwing equipment, not for making a gesture, for clapping her hands. The referee Gerda told Caitlin Clark directly that the technical foul was for clapping. Caitlin Clark went to the media after the game and said, quote, "I got a technical for clapping, so like we should all just go on the calendar now and pick a game that I'm going to be suspended for." I asked Gerda, she said that I got a technical for clapping. So if any technical should be taken away, it should be that one. If it's truly for clapping, that's what they said they gave it to me for, was for clapping. So it's just ridiculous. I don't understand at all. It's crazy. That is Caitlin Clark, on the record, telling you exactly what the referee told her. The technical foul was for clapping, not for anything else, clapping, and the WNBA front office reviewed that technical foul and decided it was valid. They looked at the tape, they looked at the referee's report, and they said yes, that is a technical foul. Caitlin Clark now sits at 5 technical fouls, 1 away from a suspension because she clapped her hands. Now let me show you what happened to Paige Bueckers. Paige Bueckers received a technical foul for clapping in a game, the exact same infraction, the exact same gesture, and the WNBA rescinded it. Wiped it clean. Paige Bueckers' technical foul for clapping no longer exists. It is gone. The league office looked at that call and said no, that should not have been a technical foul, we are taking it back. Paige Bueckers walks away with a clean record. Caitlin Clark is 1 technical foul away from a suspension. Let that sit with you for a second. The exact same call, the exact same action, 2 different players, 2 completely different outcomes. And the player who got punished is Caitlin Clark, the one player the media keeps telling you gets preferential treatment. You want to know how deep this goes? Diana Taurasi, the Phoenix Mercury guard and one of the most connected players in the WNBA, received a technical foul earlier this season. She went to the media immediately after the game and said, quote, "Mine's definitely getting rescinded. Yeah, I'm good." She did not wait for the league office to review it. She did not file an appeal. She just told the cameras flat out, "I know my technical is getting rescinded. I'm playing next game." And you know what happened? The league rescinded it. Diana Taurasi was right. She knew the call was getting overturned before the league even reviewed it. That is how the system works for certain players in this league. They get a technical foul, they know it is getting wiped, and they tell you on camera with absolute confidence that they will be playing the next game. Caitlin Clark does not have that luxury. Caitlin Clark gets a technical foul for clapping, asks the league to review it, and the league says no. The call stands. You are 1 technical away from a suspension. Deal with it. This is the UConn Mafia in action. Paige Bueckers played at UConn. Diana Taurasi played at UConn. The old guard of the WNBA is stacked with UConn alumni, UConn coaches, UConn front office executives, and when one of their own gets a questionable technical foul, the league office steps in and makes it disappear. But Caitlin Clark played at Iowa. She is not part of that network. She does not have those connections, and the league office is making it brutally clear that she will not receive the same protection. Ken Swift, a prominent WNBA commentator, went directly at Annie Costabile on social media after the league rescinded Paige Bueckers' technical foul but left Caitlin Clark's intact. He said, quote, "Hey Annie Castabio, guess she doesn't have the juice some others do. Time for a new article." That is a direct shot at the narrative Annie Castabelli has been pushing all season, the narrative that Caitlin Clark uses her celebrity to manipulate the referees in the league office. Ken Swift is telling her flat out, the evidence is right in front of you. Caitlin Clark does not have the juice. Paige Bueckers does. Diana Taurasi does. The Yukon Mafia does. Caitlin Clark is getting punished for things other players walk away from clean, and Annie Castabelli has been silent. She promoted a hit piece earlier this season claiming Caitlin Clark abuses her power and her popularity to bend the rules. That article came out at the exact moment Caitlin Clark was being targeted by referees for the smallest infractions. And now the league office just handed us the most definitive proof possible that Caitlin Clark does not receive preferential treatment. She receives the opposite. She is held to a stricter standard than any other star in this league. And the media personalities who spent months pushing the opposite narrative have gone quiet. This is nasty work. This is deliberate, calculated bias from the highest levels of the WNBA front office. The league office is sending a message to Caitlin Clark. You are not one of us. You do not have the protection the old guard has. You will be punished for things they get away with. And if you speak out about it, we will let the technical foul stand and dare you to do something about it. I want every single person watching this video to think about what this means for the Indiana Fever's playoff run. Caitlin Clark is one technical foul away from a suspension. 1. The Fever are in the middle of a tight playoff race. Every game matters. And the league office just put Caitlin Clark on the thinnest possible ice for clapping her hands while Paige Bueckers and Diana Taurasi walk free after doing the exact same thing. If Caitlin Clark gets another technical foul, even a questionable one, even one that would get rescinded for another player, she is suspended. The Fever lose their best player for a critical game, and the league office will say it is her fault for accumulating too many technical fouls. This is the part of the story the mainstream media will not touch. They will not tell you that the league office rescinded Paige Bueckers' technical foul for clapping but left Caitlin Clark's intact. They will not tell you that Diana Taurasi knew her technical was getting rescinded before the league even reviewed it. They will not tell you that the Yukon Mafia runs the officiating and disciplinary system in this league and protects their own while targeting outsiders. They will tell you Caitlin Clark has a discipline problem. They will tell you she needs to control her emotions. They will tell you the referees are just doing their jobs, and they will never ever acknowledge that the system is rigged against her. But we have the receipts. The WNBA rescinded Paige Bueckers' technical foul for clapping. The WNBA did not rescind Caitlin Clark's technical foul for clapping. That is not an opinion, that is not a narrative, that is a fact, and that fact exposes everything the establishment has been trying to hide. Now let me shift gears because there is a second story breaking out of Indiana that deserves your attention, and it ties directly into the pressure Caitlin Clark and the Fever organization are under right now. Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever guard, has been the target of a sustained stalking campaign, and the man responsible was just arrested and charged with multiple felonies. This is not a minor story. This is a terrifying, brutal reality that female athletes face. And the fact that it is happening to a Fever player right now, in the middle of this playoff push, in the middle of the league office targeting Caitlin Clark, tells you everything you need to know about the environment these women are navigating. According to court documents reported by Fox 59 in Indianapolis, 49-year-old Kevin Singh was arrested and charged with 1 count of stalking, a level 6 felony, 1 count of intimidation, a level 6 felony, and 1 count of harassment, a misdemeanor. Singh reportedly sent multiple sexually explicit and threatening messages to Sophie Cunningham over an extended period of time. He referenced his close physical location to her in social media posts. He sent messages that made it clear he knew where she was and where she would be. This is the kind of behavior that escalates. This is the kind of behavior that puts athletes in legitimate physical danger, and it gets worse. Kevin Singh hand-delivered a package addressed to Sophie Cunningham at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the venue where the Fever play their home games. He walked into the arena, he dropped off a package. He told security it was from his daughter. It was not from his daughter. The package allegedly contained a Guns N' Roses t-shirt sprayed with men's cologne along with a handwritten letter. Sophie Cunningham was made aware of the package and the social media posts in February by Fever security officials who wanted her to be cautious of her surroundings. She has been living with this threat for months. Let me be entirely clear with you. This is not the first time an Indiana Fever player has been targeted by a stalker. Michael Lewis, a man from Denton, Texas, was sentenced to 2.5 years in the Indiana Department of Correction after he sent Caitlin Clark over 800 sexually explicit and threatening messages. 800. That is not a typo. Michael Lewis sent Caitlin Clark 800 messages that were so violent, so graphic, so threatening that he was prosecuted and sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. Caitlin Clark had to live with that. She had to go to practice, go to games, go to the arena, knowing that a man was sending her hundreds of messages describing what he wanted to do to her, and now Sophie Cunningham is dealing with the exact same thing. Kevin Singh is in custody, he has been charged, but the damage is already done. Sophie Cunningham has spent months knowing that a man was watching her, tracking her location, sending her messages, showing up at her workplace. That is psychological warfare. That is a level of stress and fear that no athlete should have to carry while trying to compete at the highest level of professional basketball. And here is what makes me absolutely furious. The WNBA front office is spending its time and energy rescinding technical fouls for Paige Bueckers and Diana Taurasi while refusing to rescind Caitlin Clark's technical foul for clapping, and meanwhile 2 Indiana Fever players have been targeted by stalkers who sent them hundreds of sexually violent messages and showed up at their arena. Where is the league office on that? Where is the public statement from the commissioner? Where is the enhanced security protocol? Where is the acknowledgement that the women in this league are facing threats that go far beyond anything that happens on the court? The answer is nowhere. The league office is silent. They are too busy protecting the UConn Mafia and punishing Caitlin Clark for clapping to address the actual safety threats facing their players. That is the priority structure of the WNBA establishment right now. Discipline Caitlin Clark, protect the old guard, ignore the stalkers. Sophie Cunningham deserves better. Caitlin Clark deserves better. Every single player in this league deserves better. And the fact that the front office is more concerned with maintaining the power structure than protecting the women who generate the revenue for this league is an absolute disgrace. Let me connect these two stories for you because they are not separate. They are part of the same pattern. The WNBA establishment does not want Caitlin Clark to succeed. They do not want her to be the face of the league. They do not want her to have the kind of influence and platform that would allow her to challenge the old guard, and they are willing to use every tool at their disposal to undermine her. They let questionable technical fouls stand. They refuse to rescind calls that get rescinded for other players. They allow media personalities to push false narratives about her receiving preferential treatment. And they stay silent when she and her teammates are targeted by violent stalkers. This is not incompetence. This is not bureaucratic delay. This is deliberate. The WNBA front office is actively working against Caitlin Clark, and the double standard we just documented with the technical foul rescission is the proof. Paige Bueckers claps, her technical gets rescinded. Caitlin Clark claps, her technical stands, and she is one call away from a suspension. Diana Taurasi gets a technical. She tells the cameras it is getting rescinded, and it does. Caitlin Clark gets a technical. She asks for a review, and the league says no. That is the system. That is how it works. And the only reason we are still pretending otherwise is because the establishment has too much money and too much power tied up in the fiction that the WNBA is a meritocracy where talent and hard work are rewarded equally. It is not. It is a system where the old guard protects its own and punishes outsiders, and Caitlin Clark is the biggest outsider this league has ever seen. I am going to put my name on this. If Caitlin Clark receives another questionable technical foul before the end of the regular season, and if that technical foul results in a suspension, and if the league office does not rescind it the way they rescinded Paige Bueckers and Diana Taurasi's, come back here and tell me I was right. Because that is exactly what is going to happen. The league office is setting Caitlin Clark up. They have put her one call away from a suspension for clapping her hands. And the next time a referee decides to assess a technical foul for something minor, something that would get rescinded for another player, Caitlin Clark is going to be suspended, and the media is going to blame her for it. But we will have the receipts. We will have this video. We will have the documentation that Paige Bueckers' technical foul for clapping was rescinded while Caitlin Clark's was not. We will have the proof that Diana Taurasi knew her technical was getting rescinded before the league even reviewed it. We will have the evidence that the system is rigged. And when that suspension happens, we will be here to document exactly how it happened and who is responsible. Caitlin Clark is not the problem. The WNBA establishment is the problem. The old guard is the problem. The UConn Mafia is the problem. The referees who assess technical fouls for clapping are the problem. The league office that rescind calls for some players but not others is the problem. And the media personalities who push false narratives about preferential treatment while ignoring the glaring double standard right in front of them are the problem. Caitlin Clark is doing exactly what she has always done. She is playing at an elite level, she is carrying her team, she is filling arenas, she is generating revenue, she is bringing new fans to the WNBA, and the establishment is punishing her for it because she did not come up through their system, she did not play at their schools, and she does not owe them anything. That is what this is really about. Control. The WNBA establishment wants to control who gets to be a star, who gets to be the face of the league, who gets to have influence and power, and Caitlin Clark bypassed all of that. She built her platform in college, she brought her fans with her, she does not need the establishment's approval. And that terrifies them, so they are using every tool they have to remind her that they still run this league. The technical fouls, the refusal to rescind calls, the media narratives, the silence when she is targeted by stalkers, all of it is designed to send the same message. You do not have power here, we do, and if you step out of line, we will punish you. But here is what the establishment does not understand. Caitlin Clark does not need their permission. She already has the platform. She already has the fans. She already has the leverage. And every time they pull something like this, every time they refuse to rescind a technical foul for clapping while rescinding the exact same call for Paige Bueckers, they expose themselves. They prove that the system is rigged. They prove that the narratives about preferential treatment are lies. And they give us more ammunition to document exactly what is happening. So let me ask you this. Drop your most honest take in the comments below. Is the WNBA front office deliberately targeting Caitlin Clark with a double standard that does not apply to UConn alumni like Paige Bueckers and Diana Taurasi, or is this just a series of unrelated coincidences that happen to benefit the old guard every single time? I want every opinion that is willing to commit to one side. Do not give me both sides. Pick one, defend it, because this is not a gray area anymore. The evidence is too clean, the pattern is too obvious. The WNBA either has a deliberate bias problem or they have an incompetence problem so severe that it looks exactly like deliberate bias. Either way, Caitlin Clark is the one paying the price, and while you are in the comments, tell me this. Should the WNBA commissioner be required to issue a public statement every time a player is targeted by a stalker the way Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark have been? Yes or no? One word. Defend it. Because I am telling you right now, the league's silence on player safety while they spend their time rescinding technical fouls for Diana Taurasi is an absolute disgrace, and if we do not hold them accountable, it is only going to get worse. Hit the notification bell because Caitlin Clark is one technical foul away from a suspension. The Fever are in the middle of a playoff race, and the league office just proved they are willing to hold her to a standard they do not apply to anyone else. This story is not over. We will see you in the next video.